I talk about this movie a lot, and I'm going to talk about it some more. You're going to hear me talk. If you have not seen this movie yet, you're going to hear me talk about this movie until I am blue in the face and until you go out and you go watch the movie, and that's Godzilla Minus One. There's a good reason that this movie comes up a lot. I believe this movie has inspired other movie makers, other movie studios, other directors. I think they see the merits that we find in practical effects. It's less expensive and it looks better when paired with digital effects. You put these two things together and it's a good match. Things look better on screen. We know when we're watching a movie, there are things that this just is not going to happen in real life. But your brain is able to look at this and go, okay, this looks real. I know it's not real, but at least it looks real. And I think this movie was a pioneering masterclass, if you want to put it that way, in practical effects. So we're going to go into this article right here. Godzilla Minus One sequel filming update confirms release date plans. And this is a good thing. This is one of those movies where I don't think we have to worry about, well, any studio can let you down, so let me say that right out the gate. But I don't think we have to worry about this studio letting us down and putting out another Godzilla. The sequel to the hit film Godzilla Minus One appears to now have a release date window following a recent filming update. Directed by Takashi Yamazaki, Godzilla Minus One was one of the most successful movies to come out in 2023. Made on a budget of under $15 million, the film took home the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in March of 2024. Imagine that, a movie that cost $15 million, bringing home what it brought home. And I want to say Godzilla Minus One brought home something like, what was it? They don't say in the article, which is surprising to me, or they don't say in that opening salvo. I want to say it brought home like 200 million or something like that, 150 million, somewhere in that range. I could look it up, but I'm assuming it's going to say it somewhere in the article. But the fact that this movie is, nominated for awards, taking home awards for visual effects, and it costs 15 million, that says something. Godzilla Minus One sequel could get a 2026 release date. The sequel to Godzilla Minus One might get a release date in 2026 based on recent filming update. And I'll tell you what. Now, I'm not a movie maker. I don't make films. I don't know how long these things take. But if I had to guess, I would imagine that using practical effects, it probably takes way less to edit and get this thing out versus using special effects, using computer animations and that sort of thing. Probably can do it much quicker. This is just me guessing. Again, I could be wrong. You movie buffs out there, let me know. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, the official Japanese account for Godzilla posted a notice for recruitment of extra actors for a movie directed by Takashi Yamazaki, billed under the working title Super Blockbuster Monster Movie. So, this definitely leaning in the direction of a sequel to Godzilla Minus One. And look, deserves a sequel. Very good movie. Recently, at the San Diego Comic-Con, it was announced at the Godzilla at 70, 7 Decades of the King of Monsters panel that the Godzilla Minus One sequel will begin filming on August 30th of 2025. And look, most movies I've seen nowadays, they go into production like 2 and 3 years before the movie actually comes out. That's what I've seen. And it seems like they can get this thing out fairly quickly. And I imagine that has something to do with using practical effects. Again, just my guess. I don't know for sure. Uh, this makes it likely the film will be released in 2026. Following Godzilla Minus One's success, fans have been eagerly waiting for the sequel to arrive. While speaking at the Oscars in 2024, Yamazaki shared his feelings after getting nominated. The director stated, "So far from Hollywood, even the possibility of standing on this stage seemed out of reach. The moment we were nominated, we felt like Rocky Balboa, welcomed into the ring as equals by our biggest rivals, which was already a miracle. But here we stand." And look, that this is a testament to what they did with this movie. I'm telling you, I sat in that theater and I did not know that this movie was predominantly done with practical effects, or done in large part to practical effects. I don't remember what the exact, like how much special effects were used. I don't think it was much. I don't think it was much at all. I think it was predominantly practical. The fact that they were able to stand on a stage, with movies that had budgets that were well north of 15 million. Is there any movies in Hollywood outside of like maybe a comedy that is below, or maybe a dramas as well? Is there any movie that's below 120 million? I think every Hollywood movie is like 200 million plus every time I see budgets, which to me, that is insane. That is insane. I'm sure it also has something to do with the payout for some actors. This is why, and I brought this up when I was talking about X-Men, the upcoming Disney, Marvel X-Men movie. Getting unknown actors, to me, especially if they can act and they fit the role, to me, that is the way to go. You save money and you don't have the baggage of these actors added to the film. So anyway, yeah, they're standing on a stage, crazy. Speaking backstage about the film's impact, Yamazaki added, "I think Godzilla has opened up so many doors for us through this project. I don't know where those doors are going to lead, but I don't want to turn down any opportunity." This is a man, visionary, that if I was a director, if I was in Hollywood right now, just me personally, I was in Hollywood, I had the budget for for whatever I wanted, making let's say a sci-fi movie. Before I blow that budget, I'm contacting this guy right here. I am contacting this guy right here. And I'm telling him, "You know what? I want to bring you on board, Mr. Yamazaki. I want you to show me how we can make this with practical effects, make it stunning, make it visually stunning, and shave this budget less than half, like to like, I don't know, shave off 70% of this." But obviously you probably can't do that. Maybe you can, but I would definitely get with him and consult with him and see, okay, how can we do this? How can we make this happen and not have this movie with an overblown budget? Because humbly, outsider looking in, I think a lot of these Hollywood movies do have overblown budgets. And it's funny because over the years, there will be those one-off films that'll, like I remember, what was that movie? Napoleon Dynamite, is that the name of the movie? Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite. I can't remember how much that movie cost. It was some minuscule amount, and it made gobs of money. It was a bunch of unknowns. It was the first time I watched it, I thought it was stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it was about that second time, and I don't know what possessed me to watch that movie a second time. I laughed hysterically. And I was like, okay, clearly I did not get the humor when I first watched, but I definitely get it now. So I think there's room for Hollywood to grow in this area, and I think things are changing. I know there's been a lot of talk about Fantastic Four and what it's doing or not doing at the box office. Who knows where that's gonna end up? But I think this should retrain Hollywood, and I think they should understand the problem. The problem with movies is not that you're getting too much. Like people say, superhero fatigue. I'm not sure that's the case. I think the problem is we get all of this shiny stuff, but it's like a veneer and there's nothing behind it. And I think when you get a movie that's really done well, the plot is good, the acting is good. You're not so much focused on the name of the actor, but the acting itself. Now, obviously, people could be in movies that are you can have some unnamed actor, and if they do well enough, they're gonna blow up. They're gonna get cast in more things. But look, there's enough scripts out there, good scripts out there. I have heard so much about scripts that never get picked up. Then years later, the script is picked up. They make it into a movie, and you're like, "Wow, wasn't this made? Why wasn't this made before?" I remember reading an interview with Ernest Cline, who made Ready Player One, and he was writing movie scripts before he wrote Ready Player One and Armada, and nobody would look at him. He writes Ready Player One, that thing goes crazy. People are using them in English classes, and it just goes gangbusters. And then Hollywood picks it up, which is like, why didn't y'all pick up this dude's writings before? Anyway, it's neither here nor there. So I think there are enough scripts out there for unknown actors who can do a good job to get roles and to make these movies under budget. And I think we would probably get better movies out of Hollywood if that route is taken. Now, obviously, the big name actors are not going to lose their space, right? It's not like Denzel Washington won't be able to find work, right? It's not like people are going to turn down any of these big name actors like, oh, no, we never want to. That's not going to happen. But there would be more competition, and I think there would be more quality. Again, my humble opinion.